All right, so welcome back. This is a walkthrough. This is my very first ever Coptic journal that I made. And it's also, let's see, this would be my second finished journal of 2025. So let's take a peek. This is, like I said, it's my first one. I stitched it twice. The first time it was too tight and the second time it was too loose. So I made this little band to keep it closed. And let's look at it. I love this paper. This was some out of my little scratch paper. Put it in there. Let's get it right side up. And here we go. So those of you that like to sew, you might like to make the Coptic journals. And notice I have paper on the edge of it because I told you this was a learning journal and my stitches are so wonky and loose and terrible. I covered it up. So here's my second one. And so a lot of times the Coptic journal, you'll see the stitching on the outside. One of the things I really liked about this is that it is a lay flat journal. So let's see what we did here. So coming into it, this is the paper. The little pages, I just cut up an old journal that I was testing paints and markers in because, like I said, this is my learning one. I wanted to take it all the way through to the end, and so I knew the paper didn't need precious paper, and the stitching was just, yeah, it was a hot mess. So you can see in there, but yeah, so wanted to just get it finished. This, I didn't even use really good book board, so I have two little pieces of cardboard glued together, and then I found some watercolor paper and glued that on the interior to make the covers a little bit stronger. So as I went through this, it was just, I was playing and practicing with lines and shapes. So those are the first two elements of design that we're studying in Journal Pod. So this is my expressive journal. So I would bring those elements into it. I also would collect little quotes from along the way, put those in. I wanted to play with, a lot of times I'll doodle flowers, you know, like in the Doodle Flowers course, but I don't doodle them with paintbrushes very well, so I'd kind of play with that. I wanted to play with these little people silhouettes, so I've been very curious about people. This one, oh, I didn't quite finish this. I'm going to do a little self-portrait continuous line here because this quote's of Frida Kahlo. And so I'm going to do a little self-portrait of me there. Maybe add some more little flowers on that page. I thought I was finished. Lots of these mindful doodles in the neurographic style. A lot of these colors were from the Core. This is that Core watercolor palette. It's by Golden. So it's the Golden watercolors, and I love using them. You can see the different textures here. So this one, it had some kind of texture on it, and so then I would paint on top of it. This is one where I was playing with the, what do you call that? The resist on the first layer, and then I would put it on, let it dry, and then peeled it off. Lots of just little shapes. And so you can see, this is when I say it not precious. So this was the paper, and I was doing some little layers over it. I was testing to see what would reactivate. Other times there would be shapes on it, and I would just come in and turn them into other things. So the shapes were here, and I was like, oh, let me just turn that into a weird little flower. These look like more of the little cat's tails. This one, I also took it with me when I traveled. I did some of the neurographic stuff while I was traveling. I don't do much like the urban sketching or, you know, look at the trees and draw them. We were out in Joshua Tree, and so I was like, we hiked in the, you know, gone on a hike and stuff. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. So this is sort of loosely inspired by just being in that environment and lots of big sky out there. But you can see I start and then I'll just, you know, something will catch my eye and I'm trying to just make lines and stuff. And now we've got this big thumb coming up out of it. It's kind of what it looks like. Now this one was interesting. This was here, and we went to a sound bath at the Integratron, which is so fascinating. It's in Landers, California. And the guy who built it got the plans from extraterrestrials. true story. When you go into it, it has one of those places just with perfect acoustics. And so when you lay down for the sound bath, this is sort of kind of the vibe of the ceiling. Of course, it wasn't this colorful. It's all made out of wood. But this definitely reminds me of the sound bath. Also, we played with continuous line, then continuous line with shapes. So I was playing a bit with that. Again, more lines, quotes. Oh, this was the one from chapter 3. We're reading, gosh, what are we reading? Find Your Artistic Voice by Lisa Congdon. And so this was the idea of the creative path. And so I wanted to add that into this page. And I was really intrigued by, I'd seen someone do a purple and yellow color palette. And so I was like, what would that kind of burgundy look like in that? So I was playing with that. More mindful doodles, the neurographic type. This one, leaving the white space. So maximalist, I see you. It is hard to do, but there, did a little bit of that. And then the last page, I found this while I was looking for the little watercolor paper to put there, so I glued that in. So yeah, that is my second completed little journal. So it's a little expressive one. So my expressive journals are where I play. I'm not trying to perfect any type of lettering. I'm really not studying any paints. I'm just grabbing my paints or my pens and kind of playing. So there it is. First little Coptic journal, finished journal number 2 for the year. All right, so if you have any questions, drop me a comment. I'll be glad to answer them. And I will put a link to the paints that I used. And what else did I have? I had a white gel pen in here. Nothing special, but I'll put a link to all my favorite supplies in the description. Hope this helps.